How you doing? This is John, and welcome to John's Long Box. Man, today are we in for a treat. We are in for such a treat because I don't know if you've been watching my videos for a while, but every once in a while I would mention that my Spidey super stories have gone missing. So they're gone. They're not coming back. I have no idea what happened, and as you can see, they're not worth stealing. So I went on eBay and I bid, and I got the first 5 issues. I'm not going to talk the price, but I got it for a pretty decent price, and they're in very good condition. So I got Spidey Super Stories 1 to 5, and I haven't looked at these since I was a kid. I put all my comic books in storage in 1993. They were missing at that point. So somewhere between 1974, this first comic came out in 1974, and 1993, a box of comics just disappeared. I don't remember anything other than the Spidey Super Stories. So I don't, nothing else really of important. And when I inventoried the comics, there was nothing I really noticed. So I don't know where it went. And nobody would steal this. And I couldn't sell it. You couldn't give this stuff away. But here we go. Let's talk about the history of the Spidey Super Stories before I babble any further. This was a joint effort by Marvel Comics and the Electric Company. For those of you who don't know, the Electric Company was a children's television workshop. It was like on par with Sesame Street. It was like a hipper, cooler, groovier Sesame Street. And I don't know how long it lasted, but I think I grew out of it, so I don't remember. But it's not on TV anymore. And Rita Moreno was on it, Morgan Freeman. I had some really people who went on to become like big names. Rita Moreno was a big deal even at the time because what was she in West Side Story in the 50s? So a lot of people did it. I don't know if they donated talent or whatever, but Marvel Comics gave them Spider-Man to use, and they did these live-action skits called Spidey Super Stories. And one of the things that they did was they found that back then, keep in mind this is 1974, kids were scared of Spider-Man. So they tried to make him a little friendlier, and they called him Spidey. You know, I guess that was a way to make him more friendly to little kids. Marvel wanted it because it was about promoting reading. So if little kids are not scared of Spider-Man and promoted reading, they'll grow up and read comic books. So it was a win-win situation. And I forget who, but one of their puppeteers, whatever, would dress up as Spider-Man, and he never spoke. He would just like lift his head, and there would be a word balloon above his head. And you know, he fought like pests. And then the special effects were just like superimposed comic book panels, like for webbing and stuff like that. And there was a cheesy song that I'm not going to sing. You can look it up, the Spider-Man Super Stories theme song. You know, nobody knows who you are. I remember that's just the ending line. Spider, whatever. You got me singing. You got me monologuing, you sly dogs. So here we have the skits were pretty popular, and I have to admit I was even too old for Electric Company at the time. But I would like to watch the Spidey Super Stories. I got a kick out of them. You know, I like Spider-Man, and so this is the Electric Company hosted the first live action Marvel TV show. This came out before the Amazing Spider-Man television show that was in the 70s. So, except for Captain America serials in the 40s, this was the first live-action Marvel superhero on TV. How cool is that? So the success with the skits, naturally, they had to do a comic book next. And here we have the comic book. And just look at all this. This is the Easy Reader. And the Easy Reader says this comic is easy to read. And Easy Reader, that was Morgan Freeman. Morgan Freeman played the Easy Reader. He got his start on Electric Company. This is Rita Moreno, an Oscar award-winning actress. I think she was in a West Side Story and other things. She was like, I know they say like the Hispanic Elizabeth Taylor. You know, and I know their faces, but I can't remember their names. This cover is by John Romita Sr. And I don't know what the gorilla this is. But here, let's take a look at it. So this is literally the first time I'm looking at this comic book since probably 1975. I got it off eBay. It's in remarkable shape. I took it out of the bag, and now I'm looking at it. So usually I'm not even familiar with what it is, but Easy Reader said this is easy to read. So the wonderful world of webbing, or Spidey slings and swings. So here's a little, get the kids up to speed. And look, this is like coloring book quality artwork. And let's look. This is the Let's look at the indicia. Based on the origin by Stan Lee, Gene Thomas writer, with a little help from Bill Efros. I don't know who they are. They must have been working for the Electric Company. Winslow Mortimer and Mike Esposito, artists. Okay. Winslow Mortimer was a Canadian comic book artist, and he is a legend. I think he started working in like the early 40s. So he's one of the original comic book artists, and he made his name on Spider-Man, like the Lori Lamouris, the mermaid with Superman and stuff like that. He did all of that. He did a lot of DC. He went to Marvel. Obviously, here he is working for Marvel. And Mike Esposito was a solid inker who worked at this time. And if I'm not mistaken, he inked the Spider-Man Carrion stories. Oh my God, I love that story. That story creeped me out as a kid. So it's funny that a guy who did I thought one of the scariest Marvel Spider-Man stories is now doing this made for children stuff. John Romita, he was the art director. So I think he gave the models of what the characters are supposed to look like. And Roy Thomas was the editor. Roy Thomas, I mentioned him before. He walking encyclopedia of all things comic books, not just Marvel. And he was running Marvel Comics at this time. He was hired by, I think one of the first new hires by a second generation comic book creator, hired by Stan Lee in the 60s, became a writer, and he was only like a kid. He was like 16 years old or something like that. Rose up the ranks, became an editor, and now he's the editor-in-chief. How cool is that? The only thing is, I think the Roy Thomas years are kind of like little like unfocused. Is the best. I don't think he had the strength of personality that Jim Shooter had, who followed him. And what year is this? This is copyright 1974. So look, to me, this is like, this is like 70s DC superheroes, coloring book superheroes. And who cares about the story? So, this is the origin of Spider-Man. So here we have Peter Parker being all groovy. This is instead of the 60s version, this is the 70s version. That's Flash Thompson and then Liz Allen. Liz Allen's looking all sexy. Winslow Mortimer was famous for drawing attractive women. There's Aunt May. She's not hot. She's not Marissa Tomei. She's Spider-Man's weakness. To me, Aunt May represents Spider-Man. His responsibility personified. He can't do what he needs to do because he's got to take care of Aunt May. To have a young, sexy, hip Aunt May just proves to me that you fundamentally don't get Spider-Man. And I think Tom Holland is. I didn't see the new Spider-Man movie yet, but Tom Holland is not Peter Parker. It's it's not Peter Parker from the comic books. So here's Liz Allen and. They're going to the science fair. I'd rather be dancing with Flash, blah, blah, blah. And they kind of retconning this because if you read the original Amazing Spider-Man stories, the original, the Amazing Fantasy number 15, Liz Allen tells Flash to invite Peter to come with them, and Peter is the one who mouths off. Peter was like an unsocial kid who invited like bullying, if you ask me, because of his crazy behavior. So here he is checking out everything. We all know the origin. I'm going to go a little faster because we all know Spider-Man's origin, right up the wall. Mom, that man's walking up the wall. No more monster movies for you. This was funny. Wow, I remember this. I remember that. Well, it's right out of the first Spider-Man 2, but I remember that particular panel. And look, here he is, learning his powers. It's so cool, And this comic is geared for little kids. It's geared for little kids. So I'll go a little faster. Here he is making his own costume. Zip, zip. That is great. That is great. That is a great Spider-Man. He's not a waif. He looks cool. He looks powerful. I kind of like the angle, to tell you the truth. That's just pretty cool. I'm pleased. This comic is geared for little kids to read. So let's look. You see. The word balloons, my powers must be kept a secret. This costume will help. I'll put web shooters on each arm. They'll work with just a touch. Each word balloon, one sentence. One sentence in each word balloon. The kids laughed and called me a leaf lover. That's an odd. But look out, world. Here comes Spider-Man. Not the end, friend, the beginning. So, how cool is that? This is something comic books are not really doing today. Marvel or DC, get your act together. You got to be like a drug dealer. You got to get them while they're young. So Spidey signs up. What is he doing? He's going to the electric company. So here the cow burnt out. So there's Morgan Freeman as the easy reader. And you know, Spider-Man's doing all this stuff. And let's just see. I'm jumping around. Please help fix the cable. Our fans will be watching the test pad. Let's go. So each word balloon, one sentence. One sentence. Nice layout. It's real easy to see. And you know, and the word balloons, they're teaching kids how to read comic books. You know, that it's just you know. Do I want to buy this and read this? Well, yes, I do, because I'm a lunatic. But this is just right up the alley for kids. Here's the spoiler. And this was actually who he fought in the very first Spidey Super Stories on the Electric Company. He's the spoiler. Marvel gave them Spider-Man for free to do all this stuff. And they even let them call him Spidey. If you notice, you know, Spidey. But they didn't give him any of the other characters. Well, any of the costume characters, because he had Flash and Liz. But now that I'm thinking about it, were they even named? I'm going to go back. Based on the character company. Script by Tom Whedon. Yes, so this is from the actual Electric Company show. And here we go. Just no dogs allowed. I know who. The spoiler. And I wonder if they ever put these guys into actual comics. I don't think he's in any comics I have. So he's just ruining everybody's good time. He's like the wet blanket. Kid's got a balloon. I'm going to pop the balloon. They're having this. He's going to smash the ice cream. He's putting, I like that. He's putting in, on, out, and out. So here's the easy reader. He's always going around eating. Oh no, not to Morgan Freeman. Everybody likes Morgan Freeman. He falls on the ground. I lost my place. Oh, look at the spoiler. You know, I didn't mind until you messed with Morgan Freeman. And here's Spider-Man over here reading the book. And I'm just curious, because I don't remember. Oh, so they're like sword fighting. He's got a rolled up comic book. He's got a plunger. And, you know, I'm sure there's going to be no punching. So he pushes the door, and that takes him out. Oh, through a brick wall. Okay, I take back what I said. I was going to say, I bet you there's no actual violence. Oh, and okay, I was going to say, notice that they're not calling him Spider-Man inside the comic, but here I am. I'm wrong again. So based on a story by Byron Priest, and I don't know who that is. So this little kid daydreams that he's Spider-Man, if I remember the story correctly. And here, he's changing. He wants to be Spider-Man. Spider-Man, hey, what's happening? Spider-Man being a creep and coming in a little kid's room, but what do you want? And I'm going quick because who cares? So Spider-Man gives him one of his masks, and he's hanging out with them, whatever. And the kid's making Spider-Man costume. Oh, I'm wrong again. I'm wrong twice. Write this down. So here, and I'll show you why I'm wrong, because I saw it. And Electro. Ladies and gentlemen, if you only know Electro from the movies, Electro, Max Dillon, electrician, who was he was a lineman for the county, and he was up on a telephone pole when the telephone pole got hit by lightning, and I don't know, it gave him lightning powers. Did it activate his mutant gene? Was there something going on? I don't know, but he got lightning powers. So Max Dillon, Electro, and I love this costume. I love that costume. It's so bad, it's good. Steve Ditko designed costume. Steve Ditko's designs are so good. Steve Ditko, you know. And look, here's the Vulture, another Steve Ditko design. He's not. Although Michael Keaton, I thought he was the scariest Marvel villain. You know, I don't know why. He just had an air of menace about him. This Vulture, he's usually like portrayed as like like he steals old art and stuff like that with these wings, and these wings are artificial. They emit like thrust or something like that, and he flaps them and flies around. Big deal. The Vulture, and it also gives him strength. So he's like super strong while he wears them. And here's V's Diner, and then throwing pies at the Vulture. So what's going on over here? Oh, he electrifies the pie off of him, yeah, because that'll work. And Spider-Man falls down, and Dwayne's got to help him. Dwayne, help him. Oh, nothing. So we really mean that? You're free? That's solid. So there you go. That's the secret of Spider-Man's masks. Oh, okay. So they cut out with plastic so that, you know, one-way mirrors so I could see out. Explain everything. You know, I used to love this stuff in Marvel Comics when they would explain the ins and outs. So here's the Electric Company. Joins the Electric Company. Here's the cast. Drawings of everybody on the show. And yes, it looks like them, but I can't remember their names for the life. Notice Morgan Freeman's not really, unless that's supposed to be Morgan Freeman, but I don't know. Because was kind of always just easy reader, just walking around. So he was like Electric Company, but not part of it. And they always had little kids on the show, just like Sesame Street. And there you go. The Electric, to me, I don't know, the Electric Company, to me, was funnier than Sesame Street. It had stuff like kids would watch. Obviously, I was a kid, but then as I got older, as a teenager, I would watch it and still laugh. Sesame Street, I don't know, very few things made me laugh once I wasn't a kid anymore. So there you go. That's Electric Company, Channel 13, where I grew up, PBS, Children's Public Broadcasting System. I really did enjoy it. So there you go. This is just pure nostalgia for me. Pure nostalgia. There was 55 or 57 issues of Spidey Super Stories. I would get them every month, and every month I'd say, why am I getting this? And then I put them in a box. I don't know what else. I think original Micronauts were with them, and they disappeared. So now I'm buying, and because my Spidey Super Stories were beat up. They were just beat up, except for this little tiny line. This is in really good condition. So thanks a lot. I hope you enjoyed this. This was just pure indulgence on my behalf to get Spidey Super Stories. And I saw it on eBay, bid on it, won it, got it, and here you go. The first 5 issues. Now I'm going to actually sit down and read them. I just wanted to see if I remembered them. And who cares about the stories, right? It's Spidey Super Stories. It's to teach toddlers how to read. All right, thanks a lot, guys. Thank you for taking time out of your busy day to watch me talk about pure nostalgia, pure unadulterated nostalgia. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.